My husband took a work trip, but his hotel bill showed 2 breakfasts, 2 dinners, and 1 king-sized bed. My heart pounded. That night, I sent him a text, "Hope you're enjoying your room. I'll be checking into mine soon." He replied, "Wait. What?" The next morning, I sat in the lobby as he walked down with her, hand in hand. When he saw me sitting there, his face turned white. And that's when I knew. My marriage was over. I, 39 female, have been with my husband, Mark, 42 male, for 15 years, married for 11. We live in Chicago, have a small condo in Lakeview, no kids by choice, and overall our life was steady. Not perfect, not a fairy tale, but I thought we were in a good place. We laughed, we had routines, we still held hands when we walked down the street. I never thought I had a reason to doubt him. Mark works in regional sales for a mid-sized tech company. His job takes him out of town a few times a year. Usually short trips, 1 or 2 nights at most. He's always been good about keeping in touch. Video calls at night, texts during the day, silly pictures of bad airport food. Nothing that would ever raise a red flag. A couple of weeks ago, he told me he had to go to New York for a work conference. 4 days. Standard hotel, all covered by the company. I didn't blink. Gave him a kiss, wished him safe travels, and went about my week like always. He texted me that night. Called the next morning. Same old routine. But when he got home, something felt off. He was quiet. Distracted. I asked him how the trip went, and he said fine, and that was that. He didn't go into any details. Normally he tells me some weird story about a coworker or a problem with the hotel coffee. This time? Nothing. Just fine and a lot of looking at his phone. I let it go. I told myself maybe he was just tired or had a long trip. But the weird feeling wouldn't go away. A week later, I was looking for an old invoice in the home office when I noticed a small white envelope under a pile of printer paper. It had the hotel logo on it, mid-range place near Times Square. I opened it without even thinking. Room service, restaurant charges, bar tab. All normal. Except it listed 2 breakfasts. 2 dinners. 1 king-sized bed. I stared at it for a long time. Then I read it again. And again. It wasn't a mistake. Everything was clearly for 2. Breakfasts charged at the same time. Dinner spaced a couple hours apart. 1 room, king bed, 4 nights. I felt sick. I didn't even know what to think. My hands were shaking. My stomach dropped so hard I had to sit down. When Mark got home that night, I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just showed him the bill and asked, "Can you explain this?" He looked at it. Laughed a little. That nervous kind of laugh that doesn't reach the eyes. "Oh," he said, "yeah, I grabbed dinner a couple times with a coworker. She was staying at the same hotel, so we just went downstairs together." I asked why he didn't mention it before. He shrugged. Said it wasn't important. Said it was work. But 2 breakfasts? I said. He paused. We ran into each other in the morning. My head was spinning. And the king bed? I asked. He didn't answer. I didn't fight him that night. I didn't accuse him of anything. But I watched him closely. The way he scratched the back of his neck. How he didn't look at me. How he grabbed his phone the moment I left the room. That night, while he was in the shower, his phone buzzed. A text from a number not saved in his contacts. It said, "Can't stop thinking about this weekend. Miss you already." I stood there, staring at it. I didn't take a screenshot. I didn't go through the rest of his phone. I just stood there, frozen. When he came out of the shower, I didn't say anything. I didn't trust myself to speak. I went to bed early and turned away from him. The next morning, I told him I had errands to run. Instead, I booked a last-minute flight to New York. I had enough airline miles to cover it. I called the hotel, confirmed his stay. I even asked if there had been a second guest. The woman at the front desk hesitated, then said, yes, his partner checked out the same day. She assumed I was the woman from the reservation. That night, I sent him a text. Hope you're enjoying your room. I'll be checking into mine soon. It took him 5 minutes to reply. Wait, what? I didn't answer. The next morning, I sat in the lobby of the same hotel where he'd stayed. I didn't know what I expected to find. I just wanted to see if he'd slip. If he'd confirm what I already knew. At 8:32 a.m., he walked in through the lobby entrance, hand in hand with a woman. She was younger. Maybe late 20s. Brown hair, long legs, laughing at something he said. Her head leaned on his shoulder. I froze. They walked past the front desk. He was pulling his suitcase. She had a coffee in her hand. And then he saw me. His face turned white. Like literally drained of color. His mouth dropped open and he stopped mid-step. The girl looked confused. Who's that? She asked. I stood up. Slowly. He opened his mouth to say something. Closed it again. I didn't wait for him to speak. I walked out. And that was the moment I knew. I didn't go back to the hotel. I didn't go back home either. I found a quiet little diner a few blocks away and just sat there, drinking the same cup of coffee for an hour while my hands trembled around the mug. My phone buzzed nonstop, calls, texts, even voicemails. All from Mark. Sarah, please. Just let me explain. Where are you? Let's talk. This isn't what it looks like. That last one hit me like a slap. Isn't what it looks like? He walked into a hotel hand in hand with another woman. How many versions of that not what it looks like lie had I seen on TV, in books, online? I turned off my phone. When I finally got on the plane home later that day, I felt numb. Not angry, not sad. Just hollow. Like something had broken deep inside, and there was nothing left to cry over. I didn't tell anyone at first. Not even my sister, who I tell everything to. I just waited. Gave myself space to breathe. Think. Mark didn't come home that night. The next afternoon, I heard his keys in the door. I didn't move from the couch. He walked in slow, like he was scared. He looked terrible. Same clothes from New York, eyes bloodshot, hair a mess. He dropped his suitcase and stood there like a kid caught stealing. Sarah, he said, voice low. Please let me explain. I didn't answer. He sat across from me and started rambling. Said the woman's name was Nicole. She was a coworker. New to the company. He was mentoring her. Said it just happened. That he didn't mean for it to go this far. That they only slept together once. I stared at him. Just once. I said quietly. So the hotel bill was for pretend meals with your mentee? The text with the heart emoji? The holding hands? That was once? He winced. Okay, it's been a few months. I laughed. I couldn't help it. A few months. So basically the entire time you were looking me in the eye, holding my hand, sleeping next to me, you were with someone else. He started to cry. Not loud sobs. Just tears rolling down his cheeks. But I didn't feel sorry for him. I felt disgusted. I was going to end it, he said. Before the trip. I told her it couldn't go on. You still took her with you. He couldn't answer that. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I just stood up and said, you need to leave. He begged. Said we could go to counseling. That it was just a mistake. That he didn't want to lose me. I told him it was already done. But that's not where this ends. Here's where it got messy. About a week later, Nicole messaged me on Facebook. Yeah. She messaged me. She said she didn't know I existed. That Mark told her he was separated. Said he talked about me like we were just co-parents or in the process of figuring things out. We don't even have kids. So I knew he was spinning some fantasy life. Nicole was furious. She said she felt betrayed. Said he promised her things, told her he loved her. Said he wanted to start a life with her. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Then came the next twist. Turns out Mark had opened a secret bank account. Nicole found out when she saw a notification pop up on his tablet, one he accidentally left at her place. He'd been transferring money every month. Small amounts, like $100 here, $200 there. But over 2 years, it added up to thousands. She didn't know where the money was going. Neither did I. So I looked into it. With the help of a friend who works in finance, thank God for her, I found out he'd been using the account to pay for dating app subscriptions, hotel rooms in other cities even when he wasn't traveling, and, get this, gifts sent to at least 2 other women. So Nicole? She wasn't the only one. Not even close. That was the moment I realized I hadn't just been cheated on, I'd been living with a stranger. A liar. A serial cheater. Maybe even a manipulator. I confronted him with the bank info. He denied it at first. Then when he realized I had proof, he broke down. Said he didn't know why he did it. Said he had a problem. Said he wanted help. He even tried to blame me. Said our marriage had become routine. Said I didn't make him feel excited anymore. Said he felt trapped. I told him excitement doesn't excuse betrayal. He called me cold. Said I was being dramatic. Said I didn't understand how lonely he felt. I told him I understood perfectly now. I told him to get out, for good. But here's the thing. He won't stop trying to come back. He sends flowers. Emails. Handwritten letters. Tells me he's seeing a therapist. That he's changing. That he's cleaning up. Nicole? She blocked him. She told me she wanted nothing to do with a man like that. But me? I'm still here, trying to figure out how someone I shared 15 years with became a stranger I no longer recognize. And I still haven't told my family. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to explain this giant hole in my life that I didn't see coming. I keep wondering how much of my life was real. How many work trips were really work? How many late nights at the office were spent with someone else? I'm not looking for advice. I'm just writing this because I need to get it out. I feel like I'm living in a fog. Like I've been sleepwalking through a nightmare. And the worst part? I don't even know if the nightmare is over yet. After I kicked him out for the second time, things went quiet. Too quiet. He stopped texting. Stopped calling. No more flowers. No more desperate voicemails about change or love or therapy. At first, I was relieved. But something didn't sit right. It was like, he gave up too fast. After 15 years together, I expected him to at least try a little longer. Especially with how hard he pushed in the beginning. And then I got a notice in the mail. A credit card bill. But it wasn't mine. It was in my name. The card had been opened 3 months earlier. Balance, $9,847. I nearly fainted. I called the company. They confirmed everything. It was opened under my name, my SSN, my address, but the email linked to it? I'd never seen it before. When I asked for the most recent charges, my stomach dropped. Flights to Miami. Luxury hotels. Restaurant bills. A few charges from jewelry stores. He had used my identity to open a card and fund his cheating life. I froze. I couldn't move. My fingers were shaking so bad I almost dropped the phone. That's when it clicked. That secret bank account? It wasn't just his. He had used it to make payments toward this card, under my name, so the statements wouldn't seem suspicious. It was all linked, and I had missed it. I called my friend in finance again. She helped me file a report and flagged my credit. I had to go through the painful process of freezing everything. Reporting fraud. Filing a police report. And it wasn't just the card. She found a second account. This one had larger transfers. And one particular payment caught my eye. A $3,000 wire transfer to a woman in Dallas. The name wasn't Nicole. At this point, I didn't even care how many women there were. I wasn't shocked anymore. I was furious. And then came the final blow. I was going through old emails, just cleaning up, and I found something odd. A folder called Insurance Documents that I didn't remember creating. Inside, there were PDFs from an insurance policy I never signed off on. It was a life insurance policy. On me. Taken out 1 year earlier. $500,000 payout. The beneficiary? Mark. I stared at it for over an hour. Heart racing. Now, I don't think he was planning to kill me or anything like that. But the idea that he had set up a secret life insurance policy without telling me? That felt like something darker. Like maybe he was covering all his angles. Maybe he was planning to run off with someone and leave me to clean up the mess, and in case something happened to me, he'd cash in. I don't know what scared me more, the thought that it could have been about money, or the thought that I had no idea what he was capable of anymore. When I confronted him, finally, over email, he didn't deny any of it. He said, and I quote, "You were going to be fine. You always land on your feet. I just needed something for myself." That sentence broke me more than the cheating ever did. You were going to be fine. Like my whole life, my money, my body, my trust, was just some collateral damage in his midlife breakdown. He's been gone 3 weeks now. I've locked down everything, bank accounts, credit, passwords. I installed security cameras. I sleep with the bedroom door locked. I've contacted a lawyer. Nicole and I still talk. She's the only one who really understands what I'm going through, which is kind of ironic, considering how we met. She told me Mark had a pattern. That she thinks he's done this before. That she found a burner phone in his suitcase after he left it at her place. She called one of the numbers. A woman answered. When Nicole asked how she knew Mark, the woman just said, "Oh. You must be his wife," and hung up. That's when it all came crashing down. He might have had a whole other life. We're talking about checking property records now. Business registrations. We both think there's more we haven't uncovered yet. I'm not even sure what the truth is anymore. Every time I think I've hit the bottom, I fall through another trapdoor. What scares me the most? I don't think I ever really knew him. And I don't think I'm done finding out just how deep this goes. 3 days after I found the life insurance policy, I got a call from Nicole. She sounded shaken. "You're not going to believe this," she said. She had been doing some digging of her own. Turns out, Mark hadn't just lied to her and me, he had also been seeing a third woman. A woman named Danielle. She lived in Milwaukee. Apparently, she had no idea about me or Nicole. She thought she was the girlfriend. And get this, he introduced her to his parents. Nicole sent me screenshots of texts. Photos. He had told Danielle he was divorced, said I had cheated on him, and that we'd split years ago. They even had dinner together at his parents' house 6 months ago. I couldn't breathe. The pieces started falling into place. Mark had built an entire ecosystem of lies, and I was the only one who thought we were in a normal marriage. So I made a decision. I asked Nicole to meet me for coffee. I told her what I had found. About the life insurance policy, the secret accounts, the credit card fraud. We agreed we needed to confront him, but not in private. We planned a setup. We picked a neutral place, a nice Italian restaurant in downtown Chicago where Mark and I had once celebrated our anniversary. I called him and said I wanted to talk. One last chance, I told him. Maybe we can figure this out. He took the bait. He showed up in a suit, freshly shaved, acting like the victim. Sat down across from me with a tired sigh and gave me his usual speech about therapy and mistakes and how we had history. I let him talk. Then Nicole walked in. His face froze. He looked at her, then back at me. "What is this?" he said, voice rising. And then, Danielle walked in too. Nicole had found her online and reached out. Told her everything. Danielle didn't believe her at first, but after seeing the receipts, the credit card statements, the photos, the texts, she came. And she brought her brother with her. What followed was chaos. Mark stood up, yelling. Said it was a setup. That we were trying to ruin his life. That we were crazy. Nicole started crying. Danielle slapped him. Right across the face. Her brother had to hold her back. People at the restaurant were staring. A manager came over, asking if everything was okay. Mark looked around, cornered. Panicked. Tried to talk his way out of it. They don't know the whole story, he kept saying. I was going to fix everything. I stood up, calm. You forged my signature on a credit card. Took out a life insurance policy on me. Slept with 2 other women, and maybe more. What part were you planning to fix? He couldn't speak. I turned to the manager. We're leaving. Sorry for the scene. We all walked out, me, Nicole, Danielle, her brother. Mark stayed behind, stunned, red-faced, surrounded by strangers whispering about him. That night, I cried harder than I have in my life. Not because I missed him, but because I realized just how long I had lived with someone who saw me as disposable. The aftermath? He tried to retaliate. Claimed I was smearing his name. Tried to play the victim on social media. Even tried to email my boss and say I was unstable. I had to get a restraining order. My lawyer made sure the fraud charges stuck. He's under investigation now. Nicole and I are still in touch. We check on each other. Danielle? She cut all contact. Said she didn't want any part of it anymore. My sister found out everything and was heartbroken, for me, and a little bit at me. How did you not see this? She asked. I told her I did. Eventually. But when you love someone, really love someone, you convince yourself the little red flags are just random fabric. Not warning signs. You blame yourself. You justify. You protect them until there's nothing left of you. It's been 6 months now. The condo is mine. I changed the locks. Got a dog. Took a solo trip to Oregon. I started journaling. Therapy has helped. Slowly, I'm rebuilding myself. Mark still tries to reach out sometimes. I don't answer. I don't need closure from him anymore. I gave it to myself. If you're reading this and you've ever felt something in your gut, some quiet voice telling you something's off, listen to it. I wish I had sooner. But I'm here. I survived it. I'm not whole yet. But I'm not broken anymore either. And that's something.